What's up, people? We are back with more Eden. In the previous video, we found out that the girl who was kind of trespassing and actually was looking for us turned out to be a journalist whose name I've already forgotten. God damn my short-term memory. But more importantly, Sion actually fell over, most likely due to exhaustion, but we have no idea. She could actually be just, her health being on the decline, which is what seemingly has happened over the past couple of days. But poor Sion, please don't let anything happen to her. Anyway, let's continue. Sion fell asleep as soon as she laid down in her bed. I held my hand against her forehead. Her temperature felt like it had gone up since earlier. I needed something to cool her down. Here. Oh, Maya, that was her name. Maya the bee. Bzz, bzz. Maya slowly opened the door and came in carrying a wash basin. Sorry I used this without asking, but will this help? Yeah. I took the wash basin full of cold water and wet the towel hanging from the edge and put it on Sion's forehead. This should be a slight improvement. Her face was red, but she didn't look like she was in pain. What's wrong with her? It's just a cold. Sion had a sheltered upbringing. She's not accustomed to life in these mountains, so it's been a little hard on her health. It wasn't a lie. Sion seemed pleased with her life here, but she was likely pushing herself by working in the fields and walking around outside. It'd be best to let her recuperate here a little. More importantly, I have a name, Maya. I don't care about your name, but you didn't run away. I told you, I came to collect information. Why would I run away? Maya puffed out her chest like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Actually, what was your game plan if I ran away? You're pretty naive for an ex-special forces, aren't you? Do you really think you could get away? She was lost for words and slowly backed away. Even if you ran away, I would have caught you long before you made it off this mountain. One thing that I noticed, that because of all, lately I'm doing a lot of visual novel videos, which requires for me to talk and read a lot. So I noticed somewhat in my voice that it gets a little dry or scratchy, and then I tend to read worse and blah 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 blah. But I also tend to realize that the music actually has an effect on how I read as well, which is kind of strange. But like, if the music gets really tense, and I tense up as well, and I tend to read faster or stuff like that. And when it's kind of happy music, then I tend to read things out softer, and I don't know. It's just a funny thing I've noticed. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Even if you ran away, I would have caught you long before you made it off this mountain. At that point, there would be no need to hold back. Well, I guess what ifs don't mean anything, do they? You're the one who brought it up in the first place. Oh, did I? I didn't realize. Just to let you know, this is no laughing matter for you. Shut up. Oh, Sion said that? Something came flying at me at the same time as Maya's sharp tone. Ack! I dodged it and it hit Maya smack dab in the face. Don't make noise when someone's trying to sleep. Maya looked embarrassed as she picked up the pillow thrown at her from the floor. Sorry. I might have been thrown off my pace as well, due to our sudden intruder. I had to quit being petty and get back to my daily duties. It's shoveling time. Every day I'm shoveling. Never mind, we're gonna be cooking. With today's work finished, I returned home as night's time set in and decided to make dinner first. For ingredients, I had dehydrated rice. What the hell is dehydrated rice? Is there a thing as hydrated rice? I guess dehydrated just means that it's dry? Dry rice? I don't know, I've never heard of the term dehydrated rice, but okay, that's a new one. Leftover chicken I had slaughtered the other day, and a few wild greens. Sion probably couldn't eat very much, so this should be plenty. I mixed wild veggies and minced chicken tenders seasoned with salt and pepper into the lightly simmered porridge and covered it to steam. After steaming, I added a small amount of salt and soy sauce to flavor. I guess this'll do. I tried a spoonful of the porridge. Maybe I should add an egg for nutrition. No, it might taste a bit too rich if I did that. Come to think of it, we have some pickled plums I found in that vacant house nearby too. I wasn't sure of whether Sion would be able to eat them or not, so I decided to make them as a side dish rather than add them. Oh, look at her, so cute and sorta sad and lonely, laying in her bed. Sion. Huh? Sion moved her neck just a little and looked this way, still bedridden. How is your fever doing? Nah. Sion picked herself up as she gave that fairly incomprehensible reply. Her movements were sluggish, and she didn't look like she'd recovered much since this afternoon. Let's check your temperature before you eat. I'm hungry. Her eyes were focused on the tray in my hands. Well, it was great she had an appetite at least. Here, be careful not to drop it. It looks delicious. Sion smiled and took the tray. Getting to see her smile made it all worthwhile. I wasn't entirely pleased with how domesticated I had gotten lately though. Thank you for the meal. Yeah. She picked up a spoonful of the porridge, blew on it to cool it down a little, and put it in her mouth. Yeah, it's delicious. Aww. Is it? Not only was she pleased with the lightly seasoned porridge, she seemed to enjoy the pickled plums as well. After that, she just kept moving her spoon in silence. She ate every last drop, sipped on her post-meal green tea, and took a breath. Thank you for the meal. You ate quite a bit. It's because I didn't eat this afternoon. Please take care of this. Yeah. I took the tray from her and put it aside. After that, I had her take her cold medicine and checked her health as usual. I guess you just have a temperature. It doesn't look like that big a deal. Did you hear that girl out? Sion suddenly posed that off-topic question. She'd done this on occasion for a while now, so wasn't particularly surprised. No, I haven't yet. Did you go out after I fell asleep? Yeah, you could tell? I woke up a few times unable to sleep, but there was no sign of you in the house. I see. I'm sorry, Sion. I'll never leave you alone again. Sion might have been more sensitive to the presence of others than I was. I had honed my senses during my life in the army, but it must have been an innate ability for her. Don't go out without telling me. Aww. You say that, but I can't wake you either. Don't. There was that one time at the research facility, Alicia left without saying anything, and Sion left to find her. I'm sorry. I'll be careful from now on. Aww. I don't know what it is about Sion, but she's just so freaking adorable. Sion nodded, and then her expression became tense. So, you went to scope out the mountain? Yeah. She easily guessed why I had gone out. No sooner than I thought she was being childish did she go back to thinking pragmatically. No, it wasn't just her thoughts. Her entire disposition seemed to have changed. How was it? Several of the wires I set were cut. It must have been Maya's doing. Of course, those traps are mere child's play. No, it's not like I'm setting them for fun. My bet is even a military unit, if a military unit infiltrated, you would annihilate them with ease. Traps or not, this is your turf. I wonder if it really would go so well. I tilted my head. We had a geographical advantage, and I had come up with many emergency tactics, but in combat, not all preparations would necessarily prove effective. As far as another look at the mountain defenses go, there were no signs that a large group of people infiltrated the mountain, and it was all quiet around the perimeter. I didn't find anything particularly out of the ordinary. Can Maya be trusted? It's too soon to tell. There could be a unit on their way as we speak. There was a communication device in Maya's luggage, and it had been modified to broadcast a more powerful signal, but due to the electromagnetic interference, even the military would be hard-pressed to detect it. It would probably be difficult to get in touch with anyone with her device. My intuition tells me she's fine, but how does she look to you, Ryou? She doesn't have the eyes of a killer. I see. For what I've seen of her body, she has a decent amount of muscles for how slender her arms are. You touched her body? Yeah? Is there something wrong with that? She didn't reply, but instead stared at me with a sharp gaze sharp glare, which seemed to be trying to look through my soul. Was something nagging her? Sion, are you jelly? Eventually, she softly shook her head. It's nothing. I was just wondering. Continue. Certain aspects of her resemble a V. We can't let our guard down just because she's a woman. Besides that, there's just something about her that makes me less than sure she's a novice. The aura surrounding Maya and her desire to collect data on Sion wasn't normal, but of course, without that drive, she probably couldn't have made it to such a remote location unaided. Even if she is hypothetically harmless, we can't eliminate the possibility that she could call in someone else. So, following your logic, you distrust Maya? I have no reason nor basis for trusting her at present. What she's doing right now? Before I left this afternoon, I tied her up and tossed her into the storeroom out back. Really? Did you do anything funny to her? What do you take me for exactly? Maya is cute. Her appearance and gender aren't a problem. I just want to get the truth out of her. I wondered just how serious Sion was being. Alicia's jokes had been pretty harsh too, but Sion's lack of facial expressions made it really hard to tell whether she was joking or being serious. You don't have to get so worked up. What? I suspect you're upset you let a trespasser make it through. It even seems like how thoroughly you examined her was partially your way of taking your anger out on her. Am I wrong? You have to be able to cherish a girl. You're not a soldier anymore, so you don't have to doubt or hurt people at random anymore. But what if everything Maya said was a lie? It's not as though you or I will be less of a person if we're tricked. Besides, this is not about value. You'll exhaust yourself if you never trust anyone. We should examine her thoroughly as long as there's still room for doubt. I'm just saying, don't be a slave to doubt. You're the one who set me free. I'm happy that you protected me. However, I want you to be free as well. She knitted her brows in sadness and grabbed my sleeve tightly. Her hand was so slender and small. Do you want to leave this place? I'm sure we can find plenty of uninhabited places if we look. No. She shook her head ever so slightly. Look at my arms. Your arms? I'm outside in the hot sun every day, but I'm not in the slightest a bit tanned. Her arms, face, nape of her neck. Shion's skin was as fair as could be. That's just how you're built. She's an albino. I learned that for the first time after coming here, since almost no sunlight shined into that room at the research facility. She smiled faintly. I've come to realize many things for the first time since I started living with you. This is an important place for me. It became an important place. Sion shifted her attention out the window. A smile still hung on her face. Her deep, unwavering gaze stared off into the distance as if she were looking into a whole nother world. I believe the world I stood on tiptoe to see out of my window That day in my childhood, oh so long ago, was connected to this place. When this long existence of mine finally comes to a stop, this is where I will be when the world comes to an end. This will be my resting place. Sion let go of my sleeve. The encroaching silence hurt my ears just a little. I want you to be free, huh? I was no longer a soldier, but I was still trying to be her guard. This was all I had. My life held no other meaning. Just where does this desire to protect her come from? I wish I knew. Good morning. Whoa! I let out a small yawn and patted my cheeks gently to get rid of my drowsiness. Does that work? I should try that in the next time I wake up. I'll let you guys know if I don't forget. After I woke up, I washed my face in the bathroom, but my head was still a little fuzzy. I was sleep deprived due to yesterday's events. In other words, because of Maya Tuno. She's brought nothing but trouble. I calmed my heart, which was nearly running wild, and looked out the window. I could hear birds chirping outside as the bright morning light shined through. The weather was nice, and it looked like it would be another peaceful day on the mountain. I closed my eyes, listened carefully to the hush of the wind and rustling to the trees, and tried to drive away the rest of my drowsiness. Let me out! Please, I can't take it anymore. Good grief, she's such a noisy woman first thing in the morning. I should have locked her up far enough away we couldn't hear her yelling. Sion was still asleep too. If she made too much noise, she'd wake Sion. Bah! I clicked my tongue and turned to the door. Ah! I'm alive again! She downed the cup of water in one gulp and took a deep breath. Maya's first demand after being released from the storeroom was a glass of water. The air had apparently been so stagnant in the nearly airtight storeroom that she had trouble breathing. I seriously thought I was going to die. That's a pretty mediocre comment for a reporter. I just this moment returned from the abyss of death. There's no way I can come up with anything insightful. You're overreacting. It wasn't that bad. Anyone would crack if they were tied up and neglected for the entire night. Don't shout. You wake Sion. Oh, sorry. Maya clunked herself on the head. Her demeanor just seemed way too innocent. If this were all an act, that would prove to be a problem. But, you know, I think you overdid it too, warned Officer Haruna. You left rope marks all over a fair maiden's soft skin. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything more sensible like handcuffs. On that note, I'm not a soldier anymore either. Then, should I just call you Haruna? Do as you please. I didn't care what she called me. No matter how this panned out, we weren't likely to be acquainted for long. By the way, did you untie me because you believe me? I don't have a single reason to trust you right now. However, there's nothing you can do to us. I confiscated all of her luggage, weapons included, and already destroyed her communicator. She wouldn't be able to harm us in any way as long as I kept my eyes on her. I'm a journalist, even Shion's heard of, so why don't you trust me just a little? There's no telling how two-faced reporters and the like can be. You represent a sketchy trade. That sounds awfully prejudiced to me. Let's get this misunderstanding cleared up right away. The reason I was able to find you and Sion, or perhaps I should say, the reason I guessed you were here, is because I had a source. There's something about this place in particular with felixes and Ryou as well. Maybe something with Ryou's parents even, I don't know. But because Natsume was here and Sion is now here, and Sion said as well that something about what that moment with her in her childhood with Alicia just is connected with this place. So this is a very special place for felixes, at least I feel. Who? After momentarily taking a peek at my face, Maya eventually opened her mouth. Alicia? Oh. Second Lieutenant Lavinia F. Asai. Levi. Oh god, Levi. It was Levi? I've been investigating Sion for a long time now. To be honest, I knew where she was too. Research facility number 703, right? It was a lot of trouble to investigate it, since it's not an official installation, but yeah, I managed somehow. I am a pro, for the record. So recently, I finally got into contact with Second Lieutenant Levi, who was deeply involved with Sion. This was certainly a twist. No, I wouldn't go that far, but it did feel more than a little surprised that Levi's name had come up. Second Lieutenant Levi was assigned to the same post you were at Research Facility number 703, correct? The Levi I knew was a warrant officer though. There was a bit of an uproar at the Research Facility 703 a few months ago, right? Oh, I'm surprised you got a hold of that intel. Well, there will always be information leaks. A unit was formed to clean up the aftermath, and Second Lieutenant Levi was the appointed commander. Since there was nobody else qualified, she was exonerated from examination and promoted to Second Lieutenant. Of course, it's not really that unusual with how sloppy the army is nowadays. The unit that was formed must be Shion's pursuit unit. Dead on, you're exactly right. Levi knew about Sion and me to some extent, and to make matters worse, her record was irreproachable. I guess it was obvious the upper brass would assign Levi to tracking duty. Levi's promotion isn't all that odd, but why does she know where we are? That part is something I don't know very well either. No, never mind the details. If Levi knows we're here, why didn't she come here herself? I don't know that either. That part is crucial. You really don't know? Please don't make such a scary face. Maya was looking a little distraught. I'm not. This is my normal face. See, Ryou has the same face as me. Normal face equals scary face for other people. Well, it is scary. It's even scarier than it looked yesterday when you pointed that gun at me. Is that really your normal face? That doesn't matter. I've got no intention of harming you in any way right now. You understand that, don't you? That's true. But it's entirely likely you'll do something to me after I've told you everything. That depends on what you say. If you only came here to collect information, then you shouldn't have anything to hide. Second Lieutenant Levi also told me. Told you what? She said, warrant officer is a dreadful man, so be careful. That was some blunt advice. But she was right. You really are scary. Maybe I was a little agitated. If I thought about it logically, this woman, young lady, couldn't do anything by herself. It may have been natural to distrust her, but I'd gone a little too far. I'd better get my head on straight and hear her out with a clear head. After thinking it through a little, I suddenly heard something. Huh? What? Looks like Shion's awake. I'll listen to the rest later. You stay here. Don't run away. Bam! Maya glared at me and stuck her tongue out for all she was worth. This girl was so lacking in antipathy. It was downright funny. Hey! Oh, yes? She drew back her tongue and answered. Is Levi doing well? Huh? Yeah, she seemed well. It didn't look like she was having any trouble moving her hand or anything. Yeah, I did stab her in the hand. I was the one who sliced up her wrist after all. The wound shouldn't have been very deep, but I had no way of knowing how bad it would actually be. Maya stared at me with a great look of interest. What is it? She was completely fine. We ate together once, and she used her chopsticks without issue. I see. I was surprised at how relieved that made me feel. I had hurt and killed many people. What was I doing, acting like a good guy and worrying about someone for? How ludicrous can you get? Oh, that's right. I summarized the second lieutenant's warning earlier, so let me add on a little. What is it? Maya smiled at me sweetly as I cocked my head. Warrant Officer Haruna is a dreadful person, but he's actually kind, so you don't have to be too afraid of him. Ah, is what she said. Rubbish. Damn you, Levi. What are you putting into people's heads? That's pretty snide, catching someone you fought to kill, then calling them kind. She really was one hell of an idiot. Alright, well, we're gonna end the video here. We're about to check up on Sion, but we can do that in the next video as well. So, it's time for me to go to sleep, and I'll puff up my cheeks in the morning when I wake up and see if it actually works, because that seems like a strange thing, but it could be like, you know, you're kind of slapping yourself in the face, like, wake the hell up. So it could work. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and yeah, that's gonna be it. Peace!